Welcome to From Our Father's Heart for November 9th. Look beyond the fear. Fear is a tactic used by the enemy to nullify your effectiveness. When you fear, you make improper decisions and rash judgments. You tend to look at your circumstances and then attempt to change them on your own. Usually that brings you to a place that is not my perfect place for you. When you are driven anywhere by fear, much time is required to bring you back to a place of real safety in me. I ask you, my children, to determine in your heart to stand in the freedom that you have found in me. Do not be moved by those things that challenge your physical security. Be moved by the things that allow you to remain free. No matter what is transpiring around you, that is your real place of safety. Luke 10:19, KJV. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. 2 Corinthians 10:5, Amplified. Inasmuch as we refute arguments and theories and reasonings and every proud and lofty thing that sets itself up against the true knowledge of God, and we lead every thought and purpose away captive into the obedience of Christ, the Messiah, the Anointed One, Galatians 5:1, NIV. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. End of Scripture reading. During my early years with the Lord, one of the subdivisions near my home blocked off 2 streets during the Halloween season. About 60 houses on those 2 streets went all out in decorating their homes with the most macabre scenes I have ever seen. Most were animated in some way, and sometimes people would hide behind bushes and jump out when you passed by. You could only walk down the streets, which added to the fright of the night. There was an astounding darkness that encompassed the times that the displays were up, and thousands upon thousands of people came with their children. To combat the darkness, we set up a brightly lit human demonstration of the recording "The Champion" by Carmen. In the midst of all of the horror, every 5 minutes or so, the words "Jesus is the champion" rang out throughout the night. Many people came to the Lord. The Halloween celebrants of the subdivision didn't like us at all, but that's another story. During one of the evenings, a man, having just walked through one of the dark roads with his screaming 4 or 5-year-old child on his shoulders, dropped the child hard to the ground and proceeded to scold him. The child was frightened beyond normal fear. He was shaking uncontrollably. Then the dad jerked the child away after repeated tongue lashings and nasty remarks, mainly focused on what a wimp he considered his son. He kept asking, "Why are you always so afraid?" Fear is a very real weapon, which Satan will continually employ to try to nullify us. He uses it to capture his people. He also tries to inundate God's children by using fear to get us to react to whatever is making us afraid instead of relying on God. The most important action anyone can take when fearful is to draw close to God. He calls us to become familiar with His presence, to practice it during times of peace, so that we're comfortable being there when things get rough. God is the source of our peace. He knows that when we are in His presence, sitting on His lap, and viewing our challenges from His lofty perspective, high above the din, we are where we have been born to be. From there He whispers His love to our heart, drowning out any clatter of fear. Throwing down the junk and tucking in with my Father. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace.